Hello again, everyone. This is Louis Setti speaking as the Blue Ridge Reporter. Friday evening, February 24th, 2012, about an interesting story that developed during the last few days regarding the Personhood bill as it was moving through the legislature in Virginia and thought to be a bill that would become law very soon, probably within a matter of days, by the signature of Republican Governor Bob McDonnell, and that possibility may in fact be why the bill was sidetracked and put off until next year. The newspapers in this state, of course, covered that story. The Personhood bill would grant certain rights to preborn children. The bill was sponsored by Delegate Bob Marshall from Northern Virginia, a member of the House of Delegates. Bob Marshall, having been involved in pro-life activities for many decades, once a member of the congressional staff of Robert Dornan of California. So Delegate Marshall knew how this bill needed to be crafted so it could convey to preborn children certain rights without interfering with the provisions of Roe v. Wade. The bill did pass the House of Delegates rather handily, then moved to the Senate, where the Senate Education Committee, controlled by Republicans, voted to release the bill from committee by an 8-7 partisan vote, and the bill then proceeded to the Senate floor, where all seemed assured that the Republican-controlled Senate would pass the bill and the governor would have the opportunity to sign it and to make it into law. However, Marshall reported today at a meeting at Liberty University that this bill was sidetracked by the collusion and agreement by the Republican leadership in this state to push this bill off until 2013 so that it does not interfere with Governor McDonnell's potential candidacy in the Republican ticket, on the Republican ticket for vice president, or the chances that he might be selected for that position. Delegate Marshall was quite explicit about this. He said he was quite annoyed about the action that he said the governor orchestrated with the assistance of Lieutenant Governor Bill Bolling and also the leadership, Republican leadership in the Senate. This is another case, if Delegate Marshall is correct, of the Republican leadership casting aside, when push comes to shove, the efforts and support of the pro-life community that allowed this bill to move through the House of Delegates, pass through the Senate Education Committee, and finally come out to the floor for a vote. So this bill now, instead of being law by the governor's signature, perhaps just next week, will not be considered by the Virginia legislature until the year 2013. Of course, by then, the general election in 2012 for president and vice president shall have been completed. As reported in the Lynchburg News in Advance, there were 6 Republicans, senators, who abandoned the bill for vote immediately and voted instead to push it off to 2013. And these are the Republicans that caused that deferment to happen. They were Harry Blevins of Chesapeake, Thomas Normand Jr. of James City, John Watkins of Powhatan, Powhatan, Frank Ruff Jr. of Mecklenburg, Frank Wagner of Virginia Beach, and Walter Stosh of Henrico County. The newspapers did not report the comment by Delegate Marshall. because when that story broke, it broke on a Thursday. The newspapers reported on Friday what had occurred in the Senate. It was only today, sometime about 1 p.m., 12:30 to 1 p.m., when Delegate Marshall spoke at Liberty University. He wasn't there because of the Senate vote. He wasn't there specifically for the personhood bill. He was there by a pre-existing invitation of some length of time that had nothing to do with the recent events in the Virginia Senate, and he appeared along with two other gentlemen who spoke about issues of interest to the Liberty University students. It was at that occasion, however, when Bob Marshall, a full 24 hours after the Senate event, certainly had some time to reflect on it, and after all that reflection, said he was quite annoyed, that's his word, quote, annoyed at the governor for the action Delegate Marshall said that the governor took. So there is this division in the Republican Party in Virginia, and you can see this even on the national level as well, when there will be a grassroots effort in the Republican Party to move along some meaningful legislation regarding the situation with the preborn children. But the Republican leadership oftentimes wants to avoid that kind of bright line decision because they don't want to have to stand up against the liberal assault in elections they might hope to run in. This is Louis Setti speaking as the Blue Ridge Reporter. Thank you for listening.